All right, it's day 4 of the Kaijufest for 3131. Wow, it's only day 4. Got a ways to go, but today we have watched, or I have watched, I should say, Godzilla versus King Kong, or King Kong versus Godzilla, whichever way you want to put it. So, is this the Kaijufest that we've been waiting for? Well, not really. I mean, it's one of those films. So if you don't know the basis of King Kong versus Godzilla, or you don't know the story, I should say, it involves a pharmaceutical agency, for some fucking reason, that wants to have a, like, it seems like a mascot would be the better way to do it, but they're talking about, like, their big advertisement, right? So they hear about this monster in the South. Now, what I find weird enough in this film is that the Japanese, they're the ones to discover King Kong, where there's an American submarine who discovers Godzilla. And of course, if you know that, King Kong is a US creation, and Godzilla, of course, is Japanese. So it's kind of fun that they do that. Well, these guys go down south and they do find King Kong and decide to bring him back. Now, Godzilla's risen from the ocean, I guess from Godzilla Raids Again, so we can assume it's that same Godzilla, right? He comes back from the ice, he's been freed, and then he decides that, hey, what a better place to go than Japan, because, hey, might as well go back to the place that I was born. And then, you know, all the other stuff ensues. Now, what I find really funny about this film, it's not funny. Well, it is. Actually, it's pretty damn funny. But I find interesting is the sections on the island. Now, first off, to bribe the natives of the island, they give them a radio, which I think is kind of funny and good, but then they give them cigarettes. Because what a better way to convince people to let them steal your giant ape god than to give them a bunch of fucking cigarettes? Like, seriously. And they give everybody cigarettes, including the little kid, and he's like, don't go telling your mom. And then the mom turns around and grabs a freaking cigarette from the kid. So it's really, like, out of place. But again, it's a sign of the times, I guess you could say, for this film. And then it's a lot funnier than I remember. Like, the beginning half hour is really kind of, like, oddly slapstick. I don't know if I'd call it slapstick, but it's like, it's that Japanese style humor. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like it belongs somewhere in, like, a slapstick type of film. So, you know, but at the same time, it also feels like it's got some genuine comedy aspect to it. I don't know, it's crazy faces. You've got the boss of the marketing department or advertising, whoever you want to call them. And again, why a pharmaceutical company wants to have a monster, I don't know. It's other than to make them extra money. And there's even one scene where they go off, and because Godzilla is all being talked about because he's destroying people and sunk the American submarine and all that stuff, and he's pissed off because Godzilla is in the paper and they don't have their monster. But once they discover King Kong, he's so goddamn excited because King Kong is all over the fucking news. And he's like, yeah, all right, screw those people that died. They don't need to know any news about them. We have King motherfucking Kong. Now, of course, you know, we spent a lot of time in this film. Really, we go, I want to say, like, almost an hour before the two actually meet. Maybe a little less than that. Not by much, though. The movie's about an hour and 36 minutes, and I think we get them to have their first meeting at about, I don't know, like, maybe with about 20-something minutes left. I'd say maybe 26 minutes left. That's when you first get their first meeting together. And Godzilla, spoiler alert, scares the shit out of King Kong, so King Kong runs away. And then, of course, you have them, you know, they do the whole Kong thing where Kong kidnaps a lady and all that other fun stuff, basically kind of going off of the, you know, original King Kong stuff. And then they whisk him away to Mount Fuji where the final battle begins. Now, honestly, I wish that the ending isn't the way it is. Godzilla would beat the shit out of King Kong, especially with what he did. And it makes me kind of, though, I'm interested and hopeful for the remake that they're going to do of this. You know, and we will later on this month talk about the 2014 Godzilla film. And, you know, the King of Monsters is going to be coming soon. Then we're going to get King Kong versus Godzilla as one of the films. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of those ones where there's going to be another monster involved and they're going to team up. You know, at some point, King Kong's, they're going to be fighting and he's going to go, Martha. And Godzilla's going to be like, what did you say? That's the name of my mother. You know, some stupid shit like that's going to happen. And so they're going to team up and they're going to go fight whatever monster it was. Oh, I forgot about the other thing that I wanted to say about the island. And that is that Japanese dressed up as natives, not very sensitive for this type of film. It was actually relatively funny. So overall, what do I think of the film? You know what? It's a lot funnier than I remembered. It's actually relatively entertaining, even up to the point that the monsters finally do fight. You get the kaiju battle that the film is really going for, but it's a little too short. There's a little bit of slow part in the second act, but overall, I'd give it 4 out of 5. King Kong's running a tree down Godzilla's throat. So I think that if you'd still go back and watch it, it's still a relatively good film. It's still very entertaining. Like I said, the second act gets a little slow towards the end, but once you finally get the fight between the two, it's worth it. But as I have said, Godzilla would win every fucking time. So with that being said, tomorrow we'll be back with another Kaiju review.